Hey, what's going on, Pinball Land? Welcome. It's episode number 808 of the Flippin' Out Pinball Podcast. My name is Ken Cromwell with Greg Bone here on official Stern launch day. Stern Star Wars Fall of the Empire. What's going on, Greg?
Not much, Ken, and guess what we got? We got Ewoks.
I did see some Ewoks. Ewoks were making an appearance. I did not see a Jar Jar Binks. Did you see one of those?
No, I did not. I am so glad that they stuck with the original trilogy.
Yes. So this is what we're going to do. Myself and Greg, we just got out of the distributor meeting. We're recording our first impressions before the game is going to launch here momentarily in about an hour, 11 a.m. Central Time. We're recording this at 9:50 in the a.m. here Central Time. So we will release this as soon as we can get it uploaded, obviously after the official Stern reveal that's going to happen again at 11 o'clock. And if you're looking to get in on Star Wars, Greg, how can somebody order one?
Contact Ken Cromwell at ken@flippinoutpinball.com or Greg, Greg, at flippinoutpinball.com. That is the letter N.
Yes, and if you don't like talking to people via email, you can always jump on the website, flippinoutpinball.com, and you can order right there. What's happening right now, we're going to break down the models for you real quick. We're taking deposits on the Pro and Premium for $500. Those are going to start being manufactured at the end of September, end of this month. LEs will be on the line first. If you want to grab an LE, you've got to get on quick. There's only, it's a limited version. 770 LEs will be out. $2,000 gets your deposit in. And again, LEs will start going out the door here middle end of the month, right? September?
Yep. Yeah. It should be at the end of September, and then you should start seeing Pro Premiums at the end of September into October.
Enough of the nitty gritty. Let's get down to work here, Greg. First impressions.
The good stuff.
What did you see? Did you like it? Are you happy, Greg?
So, I always jump into, I always think, because it's obviously kind of what stands out at first, a little bit of that artwork, it stood out to me. I'm kind of mixed on some of it. Like that LE is beautiful. I've heard that the LE mirrored back glass is gorgeous in person. I don't think the video really does that justice per se. You can see, at least in the LE, you can see that beautifully lit, the new speaker system from Spike 3, which we'll get into later on. You see that woofer that they still have in there. They shrunk that size, Ken, 5? Was that 5.5? And they brought it down to the 4-inch speaker, I believe. But now they have a tweeter above it in there, and it actually looks freaking awesome to me in those videos and everything. Your Pro Premium stuff, man. So I don't know, that's where, because I'm normally a Pro buyer, and I think, and I know you hate this because you hate those Ewoks. It's kind of that Return of the Jedi stuff there.
Well, that's just the artwork.
Yes.
They're not Ewoks interacting, carrying the ball on the plate. I would have had a little bit more of an issue with that. I don't mind if there's Ewoks on the artwork. I didn't want to focus on Ewoks.
Yeah, and they really didn't. And
right.
So, but even the back glass is more of the forest scenes and everything, which, the back, they crammed a lot into all of these back glasses. I mean, it's honestly some super impressive artwork on there. But, I think that I love, personally, I love that Pro cabinet artwork the most. But I think I have to give it to the Premium for the back glass. Like, I love that trilogy back glass on the Premium.
I would agree. And when you're looking at these models, the limited edition celebrates the Battle of Hoth. So you're getting that artwork of, your AT-AT walkers, the snow scenes. I did notice the limited edition had different art on the left and right side of the cabinets. You've got mirrored artwork on the Premium and Pro. The Premium does have that Vader versus Luke lightsaber scene prominently displayed on the sides. And then you've got your... Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Star Wars, it's lightsabers, it's Luke, it's Darth Vader, so that's what you would expect. Yeah. And then you've got that Battle of Endor, which is your little Ewoks, which are coming in the speeder bikes on that Pro model. If I'm looking at from my standpoint, and this is the art, we're going to get into the shots and everything here. And listen, I think this is going to be important too. There's going to be a lot of content that's out there today. And you're going to be able to watch the launch video. You're going to be able to get several different opinions on this. So I don't really want to focus on explaining everybody what every shot is going to do and going left to right, unless you want to do that. Like, that just comes across as you need to see that visually. But we do want to give you the key points of the game and what you can do and what you cannot do. And that's just the way that I'm looking at it. I think it's a no-brainer for the LE on this if you can get one. I love that snow scene. We're going to get into the Spike 3 upgrade features. I think maybe towards the end of this quick episode to kind of give you an idea. That's the cherry on top of this, in my opinion, and I think that you're in agreement with that as well. But the backglass-wise, that premium is sick. That is the iconic kind of movie poster-esque scenery that you would expect to see from Star Wars.
And then it takes us to the next part, which, to me, I'm mixed on. I'm a little underwhelmed by the Playfield art. It's nice. The Steve Ritchie, the 2017 game, I didn't mind that. I like the grouping of characters there in the middle. I mean, it is nice to see the lightsaber duel in the middle of the playfield, but it's still, it's kind of very reminiscent color wise and everything. Do you not feel to that 2017 Star Wars?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, man. In fact, when Seth Davis kind of made the presentation for the distributors today via webinar, and when they played they played the promo video, the trailer video, and then they played kind of the follow-up with George Gomez and John Borg. By the way, John Borg is a designer on this game, is confirmed. The first thing that called out to me right away is that I had that original Steve Ritchie Star Wars vibes with the artwork in the package, with just from first impression color palette. You'll notice this is a fan layout. I don't think there's anything. This is the thing. The artwork is not taking risks that would turn off anybody. Yeah. I don't think. If you're a Star Wars fan, again, you've got Luke, you've got Vader in the middle of that playfield. Lightsabers clashed in that classic X formation. You've got Yoda down in the middle between the flippers, because below the flippers is a magnet that allows you to use the Force for a ball save. Excellent idea.
Yes, and we'll get into that because I want to talk a little more about that. Because it's a little different than most magnet saves in the middle down there.
Yes, for sure. So what Stern was really wanting to get across as far as the key product points, as far as the playfield, essentially the main things that you're going to want to be able to, or the main things you can do in the game: take down the AT-AT Walker, destroy the Death Star 2. You can jump into hyperspace with the Millennium Falcon, which is a playfield sculpt. You want to survive the Sarlacc pit, and then you can use the Force. Those are like your key takeaways.
The art corresponds to that. So, I think making that decision, but all the shots correspond to characters. So I know that your hands are, you're a little tied on that, and you kind of have to go in that direction with the characters, and it dictates your art on the playfield and how that does when you go that route. So, I'm not mad at it. I just, I don't know what I would have wanted more, but I'm not like jumping for joy over the playfield art. I love the back glasses. The cabinets look good, but the playfield art, I'm just like, I'm not mad, but I'm not like, yes.
Yeah, sure. I get that. It was explained to us that there were multiple artists that were involved in kind of these compositions. The art direction by Jeremy Packer Zombietti over at Stern Pinball. So again, it's a safe art package. And, I don't know that you want to stray too far away because, again, it's Star Wars. For the most part, please don't screw it up, Star Wars. And
exactly.
Absolutely, they didn't screw anything up there.
No.
You'll notice you were talking about the areas of the playfield are each kind of represented by a character. And with those characters above the area, it seems like there are sculpts, right, that are going to represent the general areas of the playfield that you're shooting for.
And so, our artwork out of the way, that takes us to some of the better stuff, something like toys on there. So Ken, we saw, that there's sort of two central toys. I don't know, I guess maybe three. And that's kind of the weird thing is like when you see this in videos and you watch the trailer and you watch things, it's like, oh, okay, there's, what's going on? But really, you've got three kind of pretty decent toys in there that do a lot.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you consider? I mean, there's a difference between a sculpt. There's a difference between a toy, right?
Yes.
Would it be safe to say that toys are kind of interactive, meaning they will do something in response to a ball?
Yes.
Pack?
Yeah. I consider that. Yeah. And then sometimes, like magnets and stuff, I'll consider that a toy. I'll consider that, but it doesn't have to be accompanied by a sculpt or a particular actual toy, if that makes sense. in there, because like you said, there are sculpts in this. There are quite a few sculpts. You've got Darth Vader over a scoop over to your left. You've got, which is just
and it's the Darth Vader head,
helmet.
Right? It's his helmet.
Head. Yep.
Right. It's like a bust of Darth
and then
Vader.
directly across from it is another scoop. And from my understanding, again, we'll get into shots, but at least I know you start some modes there, but it's under a Stormtrooper helmet and head sculpt. And then you've got TIE Fighter back there. You've got a cool, actually the Jabba the Hutt sculpt looks pretty cool back there at that, what is that, the Sarlacc? What is it, Sarlacc pit?
Yeah, the Sarlacc pit is right there. So.
Yeah. And he's wrapped his tail. He's got his tail. It's kind of like a Leia thing. It's got a ball, because in the trailer, I thought, oh shit, did they miss that a ball, like that there was a missing ball that jumped? But he's got his tail wrapped around the ball like he's hugging it, like a Leia type thing.
Yes, it's funny.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. And then what'd you have? You had the Millennium Falcon sculpt in there.
So in the Millennium Falcon sculpt, it looks like when you activate the hyperdrive on that Millennium Falcon, actually the back, like the jets light up, so you get that kind of that blue thing, which is cool.
Yes.
Because right underneath there is a hyperspace ramp that's directly into the middle, the back middle of the playfield, that leads to, and I love this, games that have kind of that back panel shot that goes behind the back panel and come out another direction. That's that hyperspace shot. So once that's activated, that's an up-down ramp. When the ramp's in the up position, allowing the ball to go underneath it, you bash underneath there, which then kind of lowers the ramp so that you can jump your ball into hyperspace behind the back panel and then come out on the left side.
And I've heard that it's just a great repeatable shot. Like, it always feels good. You know, and I mean, we've seen similar stuff like that. You know, I mean, to a lesser extent, you would have with Iron Maiden, you know, a nice jump ramp there. You know, we sort of had that same thing in Rush. You know, you obviously have it in Lord of the Rings that was phenomenal because you jump through, you know, the actual back box, you know, the backboard as well.
Yes,
which is cool.
Exactly.
So, you know, we've seen that before. So that one's sort of interactive. And then your Death Star.
You know what's smart about that shot to me? Because you brought up a great point. I think most people they do like a repeatable shot, and a lot of times that comes in the form of like a repeatable loop shot, you know, off of a upper right or upper left flipper. With this shot, again, like you were saying, in dead center, being able to repeatedly hit off that left flipper and just knocking out that hyperspace shot is, I mean, because most people, even when they play normally for the first time, you're aiming your shots probably up towards the middle of the playfield, right? You're not worrying about left or right so much. So that's a great spot for that.
It is, and it's like you said, like that up the middle shot always feels good, just because it's just you naturally progress to that, and the ball just naturally finds its way up there. So I'm like you, it just feels good. And anything where a ball disappears and it goes to the back, like, I don't know, man, it's just fun. It's just cool.
I agree. I agree with you, man. I like that.
And then, you know,
you get me pumped about a repeatable loop shot that goes behind the back.
Yeah, it's fun. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what, like, at first impression, when you first look at it, you're like, oh, okay. But then you start to dive into it, and you're like, okay, man, there's some fun stuff here that's going to be fun to shoot and hit on there.
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, just us talking about it, like, now I'm even more interested in that shot. I want to
I'm the same way. Like, that's probably going to be the best shot in there. And then you go over, you know, you've got so this is kind of a super cool. I don't know. I think it's super cool, man, because I was kind of impressed by it, and I thought, you know, you could have probably done more with it, but I really like where their mind was with it. So you got the AT, and, you know, it's a full figure sculpt there, but then when you hit it, it's just like the movie when you're you know, they were tying the what is it, not the I guess the pull cables or whatever, you know, tying the cables around its leg, and it drops to its knees. So it literally drops to its knees, and then, like, its head comes down, you know, like a dog laying down or a cat. And so
it's the exact scene from the movie. Those legs kind of fall. He falls forward, and his head kind of collapses into the ground. It replicates extremely well on the toy and how they have it set up.
And that's what that's the impressive part of it. Is it looks. I mean, if you were gonna do like a little animated film or something, and you had an AT, like that's exactly what you would want for your animated, like, action figure film or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you would want. Like, they executed that perfectly.
And I have to do this. I don't like making it about my personal friends ever, but my buddy Jeff back in 2016 when we were talking Star Wars pins, he's like, that's a feature that needs to be on a Star Wars game, is being able to wrap that cable around that AT-AT walker and take it down. And where you're not physically wrapping a cable, there is a spiral ramp that the ball's going to go around, so it makes like this whole 360 turn, emulating kind of the motion of going around the AT-AT walker before it collapses, which is cool.
It is.
Yeah. And then to the right, we have the Death Stars back. Death Star 2, another one.
Yes.
You took down the first one in the first Star Wars pin. Well, guess what? You got a little Death Star 2 coming your way.
Bring him back, which is a 3-ball ball lock, physical ball lock, which we always love, a good physical ball lock. And it's like, it's cool. It works. The door comes down, you shoot her in there, it locks the ball, shoot another one in there, locks the ball, shoot the other one in there, locks the ball, and then they come rolling out at you. So that's kind of all your sculpts. Most of those, so your interactive toys and sculpts wise that are considered toys with it. What you got your Death Star, you got your AT-AT, Jabba the Hutt static back there. You got that Sarlacc pit that he's kind of wrapped around there, which is basically, it's a funnel type thing, similar to what I guess like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Exactly.
Called? Do you remember what that thing was called?
It's not like I ever worked at Jersey Jack Pinball. I don't know how I would know what it's called.
That's why I relied on you, Ken. I relied on you. I don't know.
I was swinging a miss, Greg. Not a lot of time on Pirates, and it is what it is.
It was before your time there.
It's a funnel. It's as if you were going to be pouring a bunch of flour into like a little narrow area, how you would funnel it in, but the ball funnels through there.
Yeah, ball funnels through there. And then, obviously like what we talked about, the Darth Vader head, the Stormtrooper head, those are static and stuff on there.
Millennium Falcon is interactive because you do have the hyperdrive jets that activate, so you get that blue aura.
Yes, I consider that. And then there is there's two ramps over to the right. There's that ramp that goes up to that Sarlacc pit, but in front of that ramp there's a drop target, which is I am always an advocate for that. Like I love a drop target into something that once you drop that drop target, it opens up to another shot. Like I don't know why. I wish stuff like that was utilized more. I like secret shots that you just can't hit all the time that you have to open up. And it's got I can't remember the character. It's that funny little alien weird thing. I can't remember what his name is. But they also said, which is pretty cool, he'll pop up, he'll taunt you and stuff, and it'll pop up. Kind of reminds me of the Scary Brothers in Ghostbusters when they would do that and block your shot and mess with you.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
That now you're getting me down on it. I hate the Scary Brothers.
Oh,
I can't stand them.
Terrible.
I like them. Terrible. The Scary Brothers that throw the ball back over my flipper and drain an already hard game.
Well,
that's my
I think
one
that
thing.
This is different because
drag them out on Star Wars. You ruined the whole game for me.
But I think that this guy, because it's setting back further, and I think the angle, I don't think it's going to be as brutal. I think it'll be fun, and I think it's going to work. It's going to be fine. It's definitely going to be fine. And then
he's the Salicious B Crumb drop target. He's that little roach looking guy.
That's what it is. Yes. Yeah, the little roach. Yeah, you're kind of that's a good, like a possum roach. That's what.
Yeah,
he's a little possum roach.
Right. I don't know what that is, but I guess it's him.
That's him.
That's what he's doing.
That's the way we're going to describe him. And then you got the other ramp over there, which is cool. There's a lot of good shots. There's two pop bumpers on each side. So not normally where you'd place it. Almost I won't even say Godzilla-ish. They're down the lower portion of the playfield. Again, like Ken started off the podcast with, you guys are going to be overwhelmed with so much great content today and videos and stuff. So you guys will see what I'm talking about. But kind of the lower...
I'm glad we didn't cover all the shots. I'm glad we didn't do any of that. I'm just thinking, here we are covering all the shots.
You still, because there's some unique stuff in it. Like you got to give the people a little bit of a visual, and it plays into our opinion as well. It plays into our opinion.
Okay.
But so yes, you have those pop bumpers on like the lower third, just on each side, and those do something. Do you remember what they said that recharged something like fueling? It was something for.
No, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I think we were talking in a previous episode where I don't even, I'm just kind of burnt out on jets and pops in general. I think they take up a lot of real estate and they don't really do much for me. The ball gets trapped up in there a lot and it just kind of randomly does its thing. And it's almost like it creates stop and go to a certain extent. Yeah. The placement of far left and far right, one pop bumper each side, just under midway up the playfield, I think is really, really smart. Because I do like other games that utilize, like you said, Godzilla. TNA had that one kind of pop bumper. You have that kind of similar effect on both sides. I'm in for that, because now that's like that's like another way to kind of have the ball do something that's a little bit unpredictable, but it's not a time waster.
Well, and I like a purpose to it, like the way they coded it in with the refueling of. I wish I remembered what it was. It'd be a little better. But like I like that there's more of a purpose to it, because I hate pops that you're just building to be able to get to super pops and get more points. Like that's great, and I love what Elwyn had done with games to where like Iron Maiden, where that you're having to knock out a certain amount of pops, ramps, all that stuff. But I want more of a purpose for the pop bumpers. I want a reason to actually have to shoot for them other than just points, sort of thing. So
couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So I like that. I think that's fresh, like super fresh and super awesome.
They're ion cannon pop bumpers. So I think he was talking about you have to recharge the ion cannons.
Yes.
By hitting those pops.
You are exactly right.
Yeah.
Like perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken, for saving me. I needed it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I had to redeem myself for not knowing what the Pirates of the Caribbean JJP funnel is, but I'll have to go back and take my lashings on that.
So, all that, we kind of got our opinions on artwork and everything, but just as a game, as a package, everything, the shots, the toys, obviously we don't know a lot about coding. We do know that C3PO is going to be doing call out, like those are call outs from C3PO.
Yep.
There are tons of assets and movie clips. Would they say like over 1,100, call outs and movie clips that they've gotten for this. So that's huge to me in that. I mean, I think that's definitely something everybody was clamoring for, that everybody wanted, because I do feel, even though we had the clips in the 2017 game, we just didn't have enough. It is still just didn't explain the world. As we talked before on, our speculations on this game, Dwight had great moments with lightsaber battle, Boba Fett, all of that stuff, but it was still like, they're still just, it didn't seem like they amassed a lot of like story and storytelling in that game. And it seems like that's one thing that they're really shooting for in this, is that storytelling aspect and giving us all of those clips and making us feel more Star Wars than before.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the code, works itself out. That's the one variable that you're not really able to see in an initial presentation,
which is huge.
It comes down to, I can appreciate a good fan layout. I always think fan layouts they're safer layouts. They're fun to shoot. They're easy to understand. And this comes across, obviously, as just a left to right, for the most part, fan layout, 2 flippers. I think it's also important to understand everything that we kind of described is going to be in your limited edition and premium models. There are some differences to the Pro. Stern made it a point to say that for the most part, all your shots are going to be the same, with the exception of the center lift ramp for that hyperspace shot. It's in a fixed position versus it being able to go up and down. And then you've got some of the sculpts which become flat plastics, and the AT-AT Walker is static, meaning he doesn't collapse. But as far as like from a shot perspective, you're getting essentially the same game, which I think a lot of people will appreciate. You're not missing an upper or lower playfield or anything like that.
And that being said, like, I'm glad you brought that up. I was kind of, normally I'm not a premium buyer. Typically I will almost always stick with a Pro, just depending. But once I heard that, I guess I didn't expect so much to be stripped. Like, it was nice that you still had your Death Star lock on everything. But for some reason, like, I just think visually when you're playing the game, that AT-AT is, I think it's just gonna be a cool moment, man. I think it's something that right now you could sit there and I think it'd be easy to say, oh yeah, it's whatever, man. I mean, it kneels down, it falls. But I think visually that's going to be super freaking cool when you're playing the game and that happens, especially in that mode when you're trying to tie it up and defeat it, and then you can, hit underneath there and destroy it. I think that's going to be a cool moment, but I'm kind of disappointed in everything they're stripping away, which isn't a ton. I mean, when you think about it, but you didn't mention the MagnaSafe is gone, and we didn't really get into that on those shots. So real quick with the MagnaSafe. So the MagnaSafe is like we've seen on other games, 007 and stuff before. It's down there below the flippers, and then you hit that MagnaSafe, it'll throw the ball back up in the middle. But the unique thing that they did with this is that if you do an outlane drain on the left hand side, there's like a little lip at the apron that it kind of curves the ball up towards that magnet. So if you drain on that left out lane, you can use that MagnaSave, and that ball, when it gets to that magnet, it'll either throw it, if you've collected enough letters, it'll throw it out, kind of up the right out lane and into the shooter lane to save you. And then if you've collected,
it's like a death save almost, right?
Yeah, almost like a death save. Yeah, exactly. And so, but if you collect enough letter or all the letters, it'll grab the ball there in the middle and throw it back into the playfield. So it kind of changes stuff. But your pro, it's lacking that. They said that you get it, but it's a virtual ball save. So I guess then you just get, a ball ejected into the shooter lane, I assume, sort of thing. There wasn't a lot of clarity on that, but I still think that would be a cool, I don't know, man. Like, I want that physical magnet in there too, that can grab that ball, because also there's more skill, I feel, on hitting that and getting it to actually grab, and there's more variance because it's pinball.
Right.
Things vary, and when you got it virtually, it's going to take into account, okay, it was maybe over that same spot, or again, don't know how it's exactly going to work, but I'm kind of leaning towards a premium on this.
I've always been a premium buyer, and it's just simply because financially, I've always felt more comfortable and justified in getting a premium for myself personally.
Yeah.
Pros, there are some games that I actually didn't mind having a pro. Stranger Things is one of those games where I'm missing the projection mapping, and maybe I'm missing the back panel magnet, but I love Stranger Things Pro. It's like,
me too.
So it can be hit or miss. In my notes that I took during the seminar, and I'll just go through, it'll take 15 seconds. As far as the pro, Vader and the stormtroopers they're not sculpts, they're plastics.
Yes.
The AT-AT Walker is static. The hyperspace ramp is fixed in the up position. There's no sculpt that's above the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, which is Jabba the Hutt. It's gone.
Which would be Jabba. Yeah, no TIE fighter sculpt, and then the magnet ball save is virtual. It's removed from there. So, but again, for the most part, all the shots are there.
But one more thing though that's missing that they announced. So the LE is going to come standard. Sorry, we're all over the place with this, guys. But
well, listen, and I was going to say, bear with us because we're on a time crunch, right? This thing just got over. There's a lot to absorb. Myself and Greg didn't get a chance to even collect ourselves between each other to see what was happening, which I kind of think is cool. And then our effort here is to just get a first impression, and then post this so it's ready to go for you guys. So
exactly,
we're going to do a follow-up.
Exactly. Yeah. But so on the LE, it's going to come standard with your cabinet expression lights. Most of our cabinet expression lights, besides John Wick, has been on music pins, but this is going to have the cabinet expression lights. The premium, you will have the ability to add the cabinet expression lights. But again, another hit on the Pro.
Yeah.
You can't add the cabinet expression lights.
Yeah, it's not even an option on the Pro.
It's another hit to it that makes me kind of want to go towards that premium. I'm not mad at the Pro, but I do think that I'm going to end up going with the premium, because I still think overall, and this doesn't affect most of you guys, because most everybody out there that's listening to this is going to be, they're going to have it in a home environment. But I do think that this game is going to kill it on location, because it doesn't look like an overly difficult shooter. It's still Star Wars that people love, and it looks like it's going to actually be a blast to play. Again, don't know the code, but I have faith that code is going to be good. Some of the things that they are currently doing with it, I think is going to be good. So I still think it's going to kill on location, and I think that having stuff like that AT-AT and stuff on location, I think it might have to be a premium for location.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I could totally see. If you want to have obviously all the features, you've got to go premium. Pro is safe. Again, I'm usually in the premium market, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm happy with that premium. Yeah. So I guess overall impression of the game itself, and I do want to close this out and get into the Spike 3 features, because this is going to sound a little bit odd, because when they were teasing Spike 3, they were kind of putting it into the promos, and you heard George Gomez kind of releasing some information on some other podcasts, kind of getting people a little bit hyped about it. I was like, you know what? I don't know that that's going to be a big seller.
Agreed.
I was surprised to see them leaning into the Spike 3, into a lot of the pre-marketing or the marketing assets pre-launch for this game. I'm actually very curious and excited about the whole Spike 3 platform. And did you want to just kind of go over one at a time, like features? to kind of give the listener a little bit of an idea of what the Spike 3 platform is going to offer, because it's going to be on this title. It's not anything that is going to be backwards compatible, meaning you're not going to be able to convert, Spike 2 games to Spike 3.
They said that's so time consuming. It's not just a drag and drop. That is a massively time consuming thing. They made it sound like that it might be a possibility at some point in the future on particular games that would be compatible and be able to do it. But they basically, I mean, it was like a hard no, anything coming out in the future, it's a rerun or a game or anything, will not be Spike 3. It's just, there's too much to convert a Spike 2 to a Spike 3.
Right. Spike 3 commands a whole new operating system. I think the first thing people are going to notice, and something that I'm excited about, you've got the increased screen size on the Spike
35% larger,
game, which
you're up to an 18.5-inch display.
18.5-inch. It goes edge to edge as far as up and down and left to right. But it doesn't look like it's crammed in there. It does look pretty like it was born to be in there. So
it was like an insane, great engineering, because that's one thing too. Because my question always was, I was kind of always like, well, Translite's already kind of squished. Like, how odd is that going to look when they put a bigger display in there and cramp that Translite even more? But the Translite size remains the same. All that's the same. They just feat of engineering on squeezing that in on the LCD speaker panel. But it looks good. There's nothing out of sorts. You get a bigger screen and it doesn't look awkward. Actually, like what I was speaking before, like on those LEs with the tweeter and stuff above. And also, listen, guys, so as far as what we know, for you premium buyers, and I assume it's going to be the case on the Pro too, you can add those tweeters. So it's going to be an aftermarket thing that if you want to add those tweeters to your game, you can. But Dude, I think it looks so gorgeous. I think that it's going to make your Spike 2 LEs look a little boring.
Well, and that's where I'm going to wonder, because you know how everybody the benefit of having Stern titles is they look so uniform and so nice together. So, this bigger screen size, does it make everything look a little bit smaller? I don't know. Maybe you just need a whole new section of Spike 3 games.
I was thinking the same.
Going back, it's just like, that's the Spike 3 area. You've got, they said, new full HD resolution. It's 125% more pixels than the Spike 2 screen. And then the color depth enables 256 times as many colors as the Spike 2 platform.
Yep, exactly. And speaking of the speakers, I know we were just talking about the speakers there. It's got an upgraded amplifier. I guess, 2 times the wattage in there?
Yes, 2 times the wattage.
Yeah. It's all like mid-range. Like we said, the mid-range speaker got 50% higher power handling in there. We already mentioned the separate tweeters, which is nice. And there's going to be wireless headphone support. I think.
So what are your thoughts on that? Do you like wireless headphone connectivity?
Because
is that a seller for you?
I think that's what most people are going to have anyways. Like very few people have a set of corded headphones laying around anymore. So. I think that's nice, just to be able to grab your ear pods. I'm assuming that this is all compatible. They kind of made it sound like there's still some of this. I wasn't real clear. Were you? I mean, is everything rolling out?
Yeah, I think they don't want to cite Bluetooth technology, because I think there's
patent
TM on that.
Yeah.
So until they're able to get approvals
of what they call
they're just calling it wireless. But obviously, wireless is one of 2 things. It's either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Yeah. And the way that it was explained is it's what you would expect with wireless headphone or earbud connectivity. So,
but I think most people have got a pair of Beats, or they've got some other wireless headphones. They've got AirPods. They've already got something. So I think just the compatibility and already thinking forward on that, to just be able to literally just walk down there and it connect to your wireless headphones is amazing for the people that like to play like that.
I never use them. Never use headphones.
I don't. But maybe on a Saturday morning, if people were asleep, I don't know, because I got a couple games right below our bedroom, and the kids got friends over and they're wanting to play, and I'm trying to sleep. I don't hear the pops and stuff going off, but I hear that freaking game blasting. I don't even have my games up loud, but I'm like,
Seth Davis was talking about audio too. He was like, the upgraded audio system here with Spike 3. He's like, you can blare these games now super uncomfortably loud without distortion. So I'm more excited about the audio from a speaker standpoint. I'm also excited about the screen.
Well, and I talked to people that heard it, and they said it is a noticeable difference. Even on the LE, it's a noticeable difference from the past LEs.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, that's kind of the cherry or the icing on the cake or the cherry on top for this Star Wars reveal.
Well, and there's some, just not to keep you listeners hanging here, but just a couple quick notable things that come with that Spike 3 too, and these are less impressive. This is more of the nerdy stuff, but it's going to come 4 times the performance for computing and video processing power, 2 times the memory, 3 times faster, higher quality, larger storage micro SD memory, better hardware video decoding and playback. And I believe they upgraded the Wi-Fi too, which that to me, we probably should open the store or open the I was going to say the story. We should have probably opened this podcast with that, because from the tech side that I deal with, I've got so many people that have a problem with the shitty dongles and Wi-Fi connectivity sometimes now in the Spike 2. So I think that is going to be one of those underlining things that you take for granted, like toilet paper. That upgraded Wi-Fi is going to be the biggest hit of this game.
Well, and Seth even said, look, and even if you're in a real compromising position with signal strength, you have the ability to add a Wi-Fi antenna or extender too, to just kind of open that door to be able to get that too. One other thing that I wrote down in my notes, and again, this might not be a big deal for some people, but I just think it's a cool kind of feature or amenity to have. These games now will have the ability, predominantly focusing on the home owner, not necessarily the location owner. You can turn the setting for your game to kind of go into sleep mode. So if you step away from it for a while, you don't have to worry anymore about turning your game off. It'll go into sleep mode to conserve, power and energy. And then when you go up to the machine and hit a button, it just kind of wakes it comes out of a sleep state into a woken state. And you're just ready to play. There's no more turning the game on, waiting for it to load. It's just kind of always ready to go. So for those of you that are looking to play pinball on the fly and you can't wait that 12 seconds to get your game to boot, how long does a Stern game take to boot?
It's not very long. They're one of the fastest booting games, I think, from any manufacturer.
There's another company I could think of that would benefit more from a sleep state as far as like a game booting up. But it is cool to see. I appreciate it. Overall, what's your overall takeaway? Again, first impression, right? So we'll get more today. We'll see more today. We'll see more gameplay.
Game in general, dude. I'm happy with it. Again, I think it's not anything that just overwhelms me. But I also am super excited about it still, because I do think that it's going to be fun. And from the people that I've talked to that have shot the game already, they have said that it's a fun game that you don't want to walk away from it. It's got that one more game factor. So, while it's not really anything like, overly captivating in the sense that we saw something brand new in the world of toys and mechs, it's still got that one more game factor that keeps bringing you back, that it's just pure fun. And I'll always argue that's the number one thing in pinball to me, is the game fun? Does it make you keep wanting to put quarters in it? And those of you at home, just make you want to keep hitting the start button, but you know what I mean. But yeah, dude, I think it does have that. I'm pumped about it. And again, to the Spike 3, in my opinion, I think that this is awesome. I think that this is a really good step forward, especially with no price increase. All the R&D and everything they put into this to bring this. And one thing that I love that Seth said was, this isn't a one-time thing. This is a one-off thing. Like, we will, because of this system, we will be able to continuously keep improving and adding to what we do with it.
And from an operator standpoint, it was confirmed that all the previous node boards for Spike 2 are in the Spike 3 system also. So if you're carrying inventory on those, or you're worried about having to learn a new node board system, right? Like, everything's going to be the same,
which is nice.
Wiring up of the back box and stuff is different because they've got different electronics back there, but the removal of the back box was brought up, and that should be very similar if you needed to get a game in a tight spot. So all in all, Spike 3, tip my hat as far as what it sounds like it's going to do. I think it's cool from the actual game reveal or Star Wars as a title. Look, I just think it's a very safe approach to the game. I'm happy that they focused on the original trilogy. That's what I think most people are looking for. And, all the iconic assets are going to be in the game. For me, I think it's going to be taken to the next level. when I start hearing the audio and you start seeing the visual assets and you start hearing the call-outs, it's a whole different level of appreciation that you'll take on with the game versus seeing photos, still photos, and a PowerPoint presentation. Yep. So, let's see where it goes. But again, if you're looking to get your game, you're going to want to probably do that at the conclusion of this podcast, which I think is going to be in 2 minutes. You can go to flippingoutpinball.com. You can place your order there. You can email Greg Bone at greg@flip_outpinball.com and say, hey, I would like to order my game, and this is the version I want. Pro, Premium, $500 deposits, LE, $2,000 deposits, and all those games will be coming out here within the next couple weeks. Stern Pinball's fast. You're not going to be delayed. You're not going to be waiting. You're going to get your game sooner than later, which is always, always nice. So if you're looking for the latest, you're looking for the greatest, it's the hot new title, and it's available now. My email is ken@flippingoutpinball.com. You can email me as well. And look, if you have a couple questions, happy to answer those for you too. I'll tell you what I know, and I'll be honest about what I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
But all in all, good reveal day today, and it's Star Wars, right? So
it is. And one more tidbit to leave you guys with. One more. I know we've kind of overloaded you with information and opinions and everything else, but some good news. Speaking of Stern being fast, one thing that they've never been fast with is accessory rollouts. And with this game, we were told that those accessories will be out for this game by the end of the year. So no more waiting till this time next year to get some accessories for this game. We should see everything and it be available by, I would assume, Christmas.
That's a great point, because you remember the whole Star Wars R2-D2 topper incident that took place for it was like one of the most crazy waits for a topper in the history. And actually, it's also been suggested that, let's say you're comfortable sticking in with your old Star Wars, but you want to get a new topper for it, and you missed out on that R2-D2 topper. The topper that's going to be released for this current Star Wars just might be backwards compatible for your existing Star Wars game. So stay tuned cool stuff on additional information.
Look, Ken, we can't shut up. Just when we thought we were wrapping this up, we just keep hitting these people with some shit, man. Just keep hitting them.
I know. Hey, but you know what? It's the Force. I'm getting a little bit more excited as I'm kind of talking this out with you.
I know.
And I hope everybody is too, right? So with it being Friday, I have a feeling it's going to be a heck of a weekend for us.
It is going to be a heck of a weekend.
I'm pretty open on the weekends, especially the launch weekend. So don't hesitate. Don't ever feel like you're imposing. I'm happy to help out. I know you are too. And yeah, I don't know, man. Happy launch day. Let's see where it takes us. And then as far as episode 9, I think we record that middle of next week, and we'll have a little bit more of this game under our belt, which would be cool. Maybe we'll see a stream or two by then. And we'll be back to regular cadence. You can go support the show also at Patreon. So if you go over to patreon.com/flippingoutpinballpodcast, or go to patreon.com and go into the search field and type in Flippin' Out Pinball Podcast, we've got some different tiers there that you can join. We have our next week, actually, we have, what is it? It's our meet and greet, not our meet and greet, the after hours with Ken and Greg, where we're going to get on a video webinar with everybody and talk some pinball. So that's going to be fun. Jump in there if you want to take part in that. If you don't mind, if you're on our Facebook page, or even if you're not, go on our Facebook page. Could you just hit the like or follow button? It just allows more of our posts to be shared throughout the whole Facebook network. You can also catch us on YouTube, Instagram, and even on X. It's been a crazy week, social media in general. So you got anything else? Yeah.
Nope, that's it, man. May the Force be with you, Ken. Thank you for everything, and I look forward to you being down in the pit getting your ass kicked with me today.
Yeah, let's go. In the Sarlacc pit.
The Sarlacc, yeah. We're in the Sarlacc pit.
We're in the Sarlacc pit of pinball today to close it out. For Greg Bone, I am Ken Cromwell. Don't forget to take some time out of your day and play some pinball. So long, everybody.